Today we get another reminder that road rage is stupid on a colossal level, and if you're an armed self-defender, man, that takes some real skill to navigate. Hi friends, welcome to today's research-informed defensive lesson here at Active Self-Protection. I'm your host, John Correa. Today's video comes to us from the town, not the county, the town of Nassau, New York. Palm pepper spray is next generation OC spray. It's hot at 1.4% major capsaicinoids, and its modular design means you can customize it exactly to you. 3 different setups, lots of different color combinations. You can make it exactly as you like. And the flip top safety prevents accidental discharges. It's 10 to 12 foot range and 25 half-second blasts. Make sure that you can keep that long range eye poke at long range. I trust Palm OC and I recommend it for everyone for self-defense. News stories I've linked in the description said this one started as road rage, though I don't know exactly how. There's nothing in the news stories that say exactly how it started, but you can see the guy that is kind of getting stuffed inside his truck is, the owner of the truck in front. The other guy, the truck behind him, they had some kind of a road rage incident. This guy's getting super aggressive, coming after the guy inside the truck. They're gonna swing some blows here, and you see traffic stacking up behind him. Now, I don't know that the guy who has come up to the truck recognizes the guy in the black shirt, who that's his truck in the front position here, that he has a gun inside that truck, and it is a legally possessed pistol even in New York State. So he has a license for that gun. I don't know about carrying it, but it says in the news story that it was a legally licensed pistol. So you see the punches being thrown here, and he's gonna tell the guy, hey man, get up off me, leave me alone. Now the guy's gonna really stuff him inside the car. And what you gotta pay attention to here, the audio from the original was garbage. But you can see if you watch at the very bottom right, you're gonna see here as they get entangled a whole bunch more, our guy is gonna get his gun, I'm pretty sure, out of the truck and shoot twice. And you saw the first one ricochet up off the ground. You can see the exit wound from out kind of under his right armpit. He actually shot him twice here. And the news story says that the guy that was shot is in critical condition, last update I have. The name of the guy in the front truck in the black shirt who did the shooting has not been released, and he has not been charged with anything. As of me making this video, it was done several weeks ago, so it sounds to me like the police are thinking this was a defensive shooting, like a justified defensive shooting. We'll talk about it in the lessons. Man, we're gonna have to take a deep dive on the legalities of this. We're gonna talk about tactics too, but talking about when it's legal, when it's not legal, when you could get jammed up, when it will be really problematic for you. We do this every week over on John's Briefs on Active Self-Protection Extra, so please, make sure that you're subbed to ASP Extra for that, or make sure if you're watching this in the ASP Unlimited app that you are paying attention to that rail, because those lessons will keep you out of prison in instances like this. Let's sing another chorus of road rage is stupid. I just can't say enough. At the end of the day, think about this from both their perspectives. I don't know who was right and who was wrong, okay? Usually in road rage issues like this, nobody is completely clean, and there's a little bit of stink on both sides, and people are kind of, somebody did something wrong on the road, somebody took offense at that and got stupid. And listen though, here, one guy's in critical condition in the emergency room and in the ICU, and the other guy, even if no charges get filed against him, has tens to hundreds of, tens and tens and tens of thousands of dollars that he's spending on attorneys here. It's New York State. He can't have one of the defensive services plans like firearms legal protection. And he's spending $500 an hour on a good attorney to answer questions for him and to make sure he doesn't get charged. And that's gonna change his life forever. So stay away from road rage if at all possible. Secondly here, even if the other guy wants to road rage, keep your door locked and your window up on your cars. And you don't have to accept his invitation to fight. He decided to open the door here and continue the fight with this guy. You don't have to. You could just say, hey man, just leave your window up and drive off. He comes up to you, nope, I'm gone. You don't have to accept that invitation to fight. Might have avoided all this. I don't say he has to, and I'm not saying that this wasn't justified conduct here. I don't have all the details, but it can be avoided in a lot of cases, and it's better off if you can. Now, of course, if it ends up coming your way and you can't avoid it, boy, here's a good reminder. You better have some empty-handed skills. I know plenty of people that are like, well, I don't have to have all that martial arts or all those empty-handed skills, John. That's why I carry a gun. Man, if you don't have any empty-handed skills here, you're not getting to a gun, and there's no way you are getting to it. I also think here that it looks to me, and I'm speculating here, so take that for what it's worth, but it looks to me like our defender has a gun in the truck. I don't love guns in the truck. In fact, I hate them for this reason. Because again, if now he's got to defend from the position there of the A-frame of being stuffed inside the door, because if he walks away from that, there's a good chance the other guy gets the gun in his truck, especially if it's visible in one of those stupid magnetic holsters or some of those things. Get away from those, please. And so the proper holster for a gun, for your truck gun is the same one that you carried the gun in on that's on your person. Keep it on your person. Now, of course, again, having some fighting skills, standing fighting skills, some striking skills, some standing grappling skills, important. I also think here, man, I think a good OC spray might have ended this without ended up having to shoot this guy. Not guaranteed on that. But again, guy comes up, and even if you open your door before you close down to the judo ranges, just blessing this guy with the hot sauce, 90% chance it just completely takes the fight out of him. And even if it doesn't take the fight out of him, it really doesn't make your world any worse. He already wanted to fight. He still wants to fight. Even if it's low impact on him, it still has some effect, even on low effect people. And therefore, it would have been an advantage to have in this case and might have prevented a shooting, which is why I say having something between a harsh word and a gun is very, very wise. Now, this guy's got some fight in him. And again, what are you going to do? You throw the best punch you have at a guy, and our guy is going to throw a good punch at him, and it doesn't do anything. I mean, it just really decks him here, but it doesn't do anything. And man, if you have not fought in the ring a good bit, if you've not done a good bit of sparring and thrown your best punch and not had it knock a guy out, it can be very demoralizing. But this is why I think training is so important, and why I think, having some empty-handed skills and even some live sparring. You don't got to do a ton of it, but having some of that and you recognize it's okay. Even if it didn't take him out completely, it still took a couple hit points off him. And just like a good boxing match or MMA fight, I'm going to have to just keep going and keep after this guy, because I'm just chopping wood and going to work on him, I think is important. Some people have a cast iron head. I mean, that's just the bottom line. They can just really take a punch. And a lot of people can't throw a punch, quite frankly. So learning how to throw a punch, part of those empty-handed skills. And that's take years on the mats, friends. I just can't lie to you about that and say you can get them real quick off some online course. It's just not true. You're just going to have to spend the time. Now here, I really think at this point, our defender, he's getting stuffed inside the car and being attacked again and again and again. At some point, that can rise to the level of I'm getting exhausted. This guy's overwhelming me. He's choking me. He's punching me in the face, and I fear he is going to put me in the hospital or kill me. I don't think a fist fight usually and generally rises to that level, but it can rise to that level in cases like this where it gets so protracted, where it gets to the place where you're like, man, he's hit me enough times that I feel like I am going out here and I'm exhausted, and I got to that place where I just had to. All right. I think that can happen. And that's what it looks like happen here. You don't want to get in those fights. You want to stay away from those if at all possible. And I'm not telling you that that is good for you, or that, hey man, it's cool, you can shoot a guy who is punching you in the face. That's not at all what I'm saying here. What I am saying here is it can rise to that level, and that can be a deadly threat. Though generally speaking, it takes external circumstances and multiple factors like this, okay? So there's that. Now, if you notice, he does finally get to the gun. I don't think it was on his person. I think he got it out of the console or between the seats or something dumb like that, but it can work at times. And then watch that first shot come out and miss. I don't think it missed, actually. I think it went through and through, because when the guy walks away, you can see what looks like an exit wound out near his right armpit. So a good reminder from me to you. I get it. This is not New York State, and they're right next to New Jersey. New Jersey doesn't allow jacketed hollow points, but proper defensive ammo is a part of your good choices before a defensive encounter. And so you should buy quality jacketed hollow points for your defensive use, because they stay inside and they don't jeopardize somebody else by coming out the back, all right? And that does more damage as well, which is not about hurting them worse, but it's about stopping them sooner and causing them to change their behavior. So a proper jacketed hollow point, again, Federal HST, Spear Gold Dots, those are the defaults. Maybe Hornady Critical Duty can work okay too. Those are kind of the ones that I would say, stick to those. Unless you have a real compelling reason otherwise. Next thing I want to pay attention to is this guy is shot twice. He is going to end up in critical care, but recognize the fight ain't out of him yet. And he is still on his feet, even shot twice. Some people take a lot of shooting in order to not be a threat. Now, I'm glad our defender stopped shooting him at this point. I think that was the right decision to stop shooting, because he wasn't a deadly threat in this moment anymore. So therefore, don't shoot him anymore. But recognize that you can shoot somebody several times with a handgun and they can still be up and at them. So in this case, good decision. Just recognize that handguns don't act like they do in John Wick and blow people across the room, right? That's just not how handguns really work. Now, I also want to think about the fact that our aggressor here, the guy who was doing the punching, who is now shot, white shirt, goes back to his truck. Man, I gotta say, this just gave me the heebie-jeebies, because it seems like our defender's not paying any attention to him here. Now, thankfully, that ended up not costing him anything. But hey, you had a gun in your truck. What keeps you from thinking he's got a gun in his truck and that he might be coming out to use it on you? Now, I'm not saying by that you should shoot him some more. What I am saying from that is that you should probably take cover, is that you should probably be paying good attention to him because he's just been a threat to your life, and take defensive, evasive maneuvers. And that could either be getting in your truck quickly and being gone from there, or at least getting behind the engine block of your truck and watching him carefully, because if he comes out with a gun, then I got to do something about that. All right? Didn't happen in this case. That's okay. Finally, as well, remember our follow-up actions, right? So tap ifs. The tap is the threat down? Did I hit him? Do I need to shoot him again? A, accomplices. Did he bring any buddies to the fight? P, is my partner in the fight? He doesn't have a partner here. I, injuries. Am I hurt? Do I need to do something to save my life? F, firearm. Is my firearm still in functioning condition? Second F, follow-up. What do I need to be doing right now to make myself safer? What's the smart thing to be doing right now? And get after doing that. And then S, seek help. Make sure that you call it into 911. You want to be the first one to 911. Now, maybe one of these bystanders has called. That's great. You should assume that you're being filmed and do the things that you need to do to be a good, sane, sober, moral, prudent person here. But also win the fight to 911. Hey, man, I just had a guy attack me. Shots have been fired. We need police here immediately. I'm okay, but we're going to need an ambulance for sure. And then get on the phone with your attorney. Now, certainly I would recommend firearms legal protection for anyone and everyone where that is legal. New York State doesn't have that. They make that illegal. I would harass your legislature until they change that. But you should definitely have a local attorney that you are comfortable defending you in court in criminal matters related to firearms and in defensive care, because you're going to need him on that day. And you want him to be the one, or her to be the one, who is answering questions for you. And when the detectives show up, be quiet, assert your rights, let them do their investigation, and let your attorney talk for you. This is a tough one. This one teaches a lot of things. There was a lot of mistakes made here. Thankfully, it looks like our defender came out of it okay. I hope the legal process lets him go pretty quickly. I'd say this looks defensive to me. It looks like he covered his ass.